Everyone, hope everything's going well. You guys and gals know that drill. Smash that like button, subscribe if you haven't, and comment down below. Follow me on Instagram at AIH_sports. Follow me on my finance channel at AIH Finance, where I will be doing more videos as things get crazier and crazier. Okay. I have this one autograph I got in the mail via TTM, Mike Tomczak. I remember him playing with the Steelers. Now, he did play with the Bears, and I did want his autograph. And I was pretty young when he was with the Bears, but the reality is I want to collect Bears QBs because there have been so many Bears quarterbacks in my lifetime. Especially, he didn't play during the Aaron Rodgers / Brett Favre era, where the Bears had 30-some quarterbacks, and the Packers had about maybe 4 or 5 quarterbacks because, I think Rodgers got injured a few times. But yeah, this is what I want to do. This is my goal. Now I have to get around to buying some of these cards and finding out which players actually signed these cards. Okay, today I wanted to touch base on pumping and dumping. Who is the biggest pumper and dumper? And, I've done videos. I've asked the question, hey, look, is Gary Vee or someone close to Gary Vee, maybe like Dan Fleischman, is that what his name is? Like, was some pumping and dumping going on? Was asking those questions when I started this channel. I didn't know the guy Fleischman, but then I figured out, hey, look, there was a Zoom call, and then all of a sudden, all these card prices after that just started going up like crazy. Ziggy did a video on that, just asking the question. And I also did a video on that. And, I talked about Curator and the Star Wars saga, the Marvel PMGs, all that going on. I thought F1 was being pumped and dumped as well by other individuals, other influencers or YouTubers. But in reality, the biggest pumper and dumper, why do I talk about this right now, is the Federal Reserve. This is probably what everyone needs to learn about because it not only applies to sports cards, it applies to all other assets. The pump and dump. Federal Reserve, in my opinion, responsible for the pump and dump that happened in the economy, 2020. All these asset prices started to rise up. Well, someone would be like, well, they act on behalf of Congress. No. In technicality, they are a private bank. You could look this up. And now you have to ask the question, who owns the Federal Reserve? This is not like a crackpot question to ask. All right? Like, what's their motive? Okay? And, you could look into that. Someone would be like, oh, you're a conspiracy theorist, this and that. No. This bank literally was created in Jekyll Island a long time ago before the actual Federal Reserve was actually enacted by Congress.
Because prior to the existence of the Federal Reserve, there were institutions like J.P. Morgan after the panic of 1907 that intervened in the market and helped to turn the economy. There were periods in the past where there were...
Private industry can do whatever it wishes, Ron. I have no problem with that.
Well, but we created the Federal Reserve so that private industry did not bear the responsibility of...
Who created the Federal Reserve, Ron?
Well, Congress, Rick. What is your point about that?
Well, read about Jekyll Island. Read about the people that attended that meeting in disguises. It's very interesting.
Well, I have, Rick. I don't understand, whether...
So have I.
Yeah, okay. Well, that's great. I'm not. That's not the point I'm making. The fact is that...
Guys, come on. Let's get to a point.
Can
I ask you?
What ended up happening was you had a bunch of these bankers after the panic of 1907. They met at Jekyll Island to try to prevent future crashes. They wore masks, and a lot of people don't even know the story. But you have to ask the question, why did these bankers who don't like each other collude to basically draft the Federal Reserve? That's a legitimate question to ask. One part of history that no one really talks about or knows about or reads about. Now, what does this have to do with sports cards? Well, going back to 2020, the Fed pumped in all this monopoly money to the system, which also allowed Congress to, spend like drunken sailors during the pandemic. And where did that monopoly money go? Some of it via PPP. There's probably PPP fraud. It happened definitely in Pokemon. People have gone to jail. Other individuals have been accused of using PPP loans for the sports cards. And that just dramatically pushed up prices of sports cards. And then on top of it, you had everything shut off. Okay, so Federal Reserve helped with price appreciation. What about price depreciation? Well, they pumped it up. Well, in my opinion, they pumped it down. Or part of the reason why sports cards went down is because they pumped down the prices of sports cards. And they started to raise interest rates. I think it's around when Biden was elected, quote unquote. And when that happened, the Fed started to raise interest rates. And then bada bing, bada boom, you just saw sports cards even go further down. And now we're at a point, okay, we're in the dump phase, the final dump phase of the Federal Reserve, and now they're saying, hey, we're not going to raise interest rates. Okay, if those interest rates are not going to go up, what's going to, in the short run, right? I do expect problems in the economy later next year, as I've stated numerous times. What's going to happen, especially to the high end? This is my opinion, not telling you what to do. It's going to be a gradual appreciation of these high end and some of these mid end sports cards. And some of these basketball cards that have been tanking, I think they will see a rise up. Me on my collecting journey and also speculating journey, I'm starting to buy sports cards just for TTM because, hey, if I want to grade some of these, the time right now is to buy for me. I'm not telling you what to do. But anyways, everyone needs to learn about the Fed. I'm going to talk more about it on my other channel, but I do talk about it here and there. But they, in my opinion, are the biggest pumper and dumpers. They are a private bank. Despite, they have to have a dual mandate or whatever. Okay, sure. But in reality, who pulls the strings on them, all right? They've done all sorts of crazy stuff throughout history. Or because of them, all crazy stuff has happened, right? All these wars, they basically funded. All the welfare spending, they basically funded, okay? They allow Congress to spend like drunken sailors. So they're really important, in my opinion. I follow them in regards to the gold and silver market. I follow them in regards to Bitcoin. I follow interest rates. I think this is, for those that are quote unquote investing, I think they need to have a better understanding of the Fed. But those are my own thoughts. Anyways, let me know what you think, and I'll talk to you later. See ya. Bye.